Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy. Welcome to episode 215 of Pera's Playbook. Today we're going to do a Michigan high school football playoff preview. I've got Sal Madonna, but most of you would know him as the Big Madonski, the number one high school football page in the state of Michigan. Almost 20,000 followers. He's nearing that big milestone mark on Instagram. But we're going to break down the playoffs here. We're going to give our picks for some winners in each division, and it's going to be a good time. So thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me, Pera. I'm really glad to see you again. I'm excited for this playoffs this November. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I really hope at some point that we can link up for a game, in the UP or the Upper Northern Lower or something. Just, it'd be fun.
The plan is we're hoping that Mendon makes it to the 8-player final, so Travis could head up there with them and do a highlight reel for them, and I'm gonna hop on. I'm gonna hop with them.
Yeah. Well,
So
what? Yeah, yeah. If the schedule works out, I'll have to check my schedule and see if we can make an appearance there. That'd be something, huh?
Marquette and the road to the dome.
Yeah, if especially if we get some UP action in the dome, then it's even
Oh,
more
100.
worth it.
We will. We will.
Before we start talking about football, I just want to make a pitch to any college athletes that might be listening to this podcast. Doesn't matter what division you're in, if you're NAIA, D3, D2, D1, whatever, any sport, if you would be interested in coming on the podcast and doing a podcast, I interview a lot of college athletes, share people's stories, their journeys. So if anyone is listening and they'd be interested in doing a podcast, just shoot me a DM. I like to get a wide variety of guests from actors, musicians to athletes of all kinds. So if you're interested, hit me up and we'll make it happen. But now we're going to dive in.
Best pot in the UP. I'm ready to go.
Why don't we go backwards? Hey, why don't we start? We'll give 8-man some love to start, and we'll save D1 for last. We'll make those people either skip to the end of the episode or they just got to wait it out.
Yeah. That's what I did last year for my picks on Instagram Live. It took me almost, I think, 3 hours to finish. I did all 144 games. It was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, that is interesting for sure. Well, let's start with 8-man Division Two, and this is an interesting one for the Upper Peninsula teams like North Dickinson Nordics. I mean, that's a team that in recent years, I was really starting to think, is this program going to make it? Are they going to fold? The enrollment of the school is tiny. It's under 100 total enrollments in the middle of nowhere. And 8 years prior to this, they had 13 total wins across 8 years, right? They were winning 2 to 3 games a season if they were lucky. Last year, I think they won 5, which is bringing that win total up. But this year, they're 9-0, and the Nordics are rolling. They're outscoring their opponents 434 to 192. So I'm just going to dive in right now and say that the Nordics are going to win the state championship in 8-man Division Two. They're going to bring some pride to small town Upper Peninsula.
I love to hear it. That's honestly one of the biggest surprises of the season is North Dickinson. Nine, like you said, 9-0. Only had 8 wins in the last you said 13 wins in the last 8 years.
Yeah,
huge turnaround. Huge turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
I really love to see it. They were playing against one of the original powerhouses of the UP, St. Ignace, and they'll probably take care of them pretty easily in the first round. But then they have a big task either against Lake Linden Hubble or Powers North Central.
Yeah. Those are going to be, I mean, tough teams either way. Got to give a shout out to Lake Linden. For any of you downstate people that don't know Lake Linden Hubble, look up that football program. It is a great program. Multiple state championships back in the 90s when they were an 11-man. They missed the playoffs only 10 times since 1985, so pretty consistent in making the playoffs. It's a well-coached team. There's a great culture. I had the privilege of doing their last game on Friday against Ontonagon and just being on the field with those kids and like listening to them communicate and the way they hold themselves during a game. It's just the sign of a well cultured, coached program. The community loves football there in Lakeland, and they're going to be a tough out. But I think that I think they should get past North Central, and I think that North Dickinson will take them again. That was a close game to start the year. I think Lake Linden only lost because they missed their 2-point conversions, and that's what gave North Dickinson the win. But I love my lakes. I live like I could see the football field from my house. I got, but I'm gonna roll with North Dickinson. We're gonna roll with a little, you know, it would be kind of a miracle season have that turnaround if they went down and won a state championship.
100%. It has been a great year for the Nordics. Unfortunately, I do have Lake Linden Hubble taking it over them in the regional finals. Going back to that, you said Lake Linden Hubble has been a absolute powerhouse since 1985. I'm gonna. My dad would go to the Silver Dome in the 90s, and who would be there? Lake Linden Hubble. So my family's been pretty familiar with the lakes. They're always a strong program. I honestly, I have them in the state finals, but against a Southwest powerhouse themselves, the Mendon Hornets, known as Titletown, 13, 11-man state championships. Looking for that first eight-player state championship, led by their running back Owen Gorham, who has 97 touchdowns in his career, looking for the break the 100 mark. And it's really exciting to see these two powerhouse programs. I'm hoping on that Saturday, the week before Thanksgiving, in the Superior Dome.
Yeah, Lake Linden's got a good team. I wouldn't be upset if they if they prove me wrong and they beat North Dickinson. I'm gonna root for the Lakes all the way. Then, you per proud whatever team makes it, and my wife is a Lake Linden alumni, so she definitely wants Lake Linden to do well. But there's some great athletes on that team. There's the Axford brothers. There's three of them. One's a quarterback. You got two wide receivers, and then on defense they play linebacker, and in the secondary they've got a great lineman, Travis Holbrook, Isaac Johnson. They've got good running backs, Davitella and Sullivan. They can really hit you in a bunch of different ways. They got a pass game, they've got a run game, they've got some size, they've got some speed. So I think whatever we get, whether it's North Dickinson, North Central has been a powerhouse for years. If they make it downstate, the North, Lake Linden, if any of those teams end up making it down there and playing one of these downstate powerhouses, we're gonna have some fireworks for sure.
Oh, 100%. Eight-man football is known for its high-scoring games. Uh, I went to a eight-man football game a couple years back between Mendon and Lenawee Christian, and there was a quarterback at Lenawee Christian called his name was Sam Lutz, and I kid you not, he threw for 2 touchdowns, ran 3 touchdowns, and had a pick six on defense. It was one of the greatest. It was in the first half. One of the greatest first half performances I've seen since Donovan Edwards against Sterling Heights Stevenson in the 2020 district finals, where he scored 6 touchdowns on them in the first half. An unbelievable kid. That's also another unbelievable program who unfortunately did not make the playoffs this year. They were the back-to-back state champions a couple years ago, and now they've been struggling. Not really that struggling. It was more just not being able to make it because of playoff points. We'll probably get into playoff points later on in the episode, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That'll be an interesting topic when we get to some of those bigger divisions where
yeah, I'm going to assume we're going to be talking a little bit about De La Salle football.
Oh yeah.
Whitmore Lake, who went 7-2 and did not qualify for the Division 5 playoffs. But playoff points are a little weird. All depends on who you play. That's just how it goes right now. Another team I want to mention is Britton Deerfield, another South Michigan 8-player team. They were the only team that really played Mendon close at all this year. And I feel like if they match up again, I think Mendon might struggle a little bit, but I still think Mendon is going to take that southeast bracket of the 8-player D2 region.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
100.
There's some great teams, and it's really anyone's game right now. Anyone can take this state championship. There's no like clear favorite. I think it's going to be tight.
100%. Everyone knows when November hits, everyone's record goes back to 0-0.
Yeah,
The matchups
for sure.
early in the season really don't mean much. yeah, for those teams who lost those matchups, and it definitely puts a chip on their shoulder. They want their get back. Um, but for Menden, I think they're just going to be too much.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see. Why don't we roll into Division One for eight man? I'm gonna roll with some Uper power again. I'm saying that the state championship winner will come from the Norway Gogibic game, and I picked Gogibic to win that game. But even if Gogibic loses, I think Norway will take the state championship. I think that your winner is going to come out of there. I'm picking Gogibic. I got to watch them. I haven't seen Norway play. I know they're pretty good. I saw Gogibic handle Lake Linden, pretty easily. They were up, I don't know, 30 to nothing at halftime or something like that. Their quarterback is lightning fast, Jaden Verrett. They can throw the ball. It's a really well coached. That's another program. 10 wins over 4 years. This year they're 8-1. Huge turnaround. I mean, when they were an 11-man program, if you saw them on the schedule, it was like, oh, here's a free win, right? This team's going to go 1-8, 2-7 every single year. But they've turned that program around. It doesn't matter that Ironwood split off to their own team. The Gwinnett Minor team is still strong, and I think that they're going to make a little run down state. But like I said, if they were to lose, I think Norway will take it.
Right. I do have Norway coming out of that region to be in at the Superior Dome. They beat the brakes off of Pickford earlier in the year. Was it 52-6? Both
Yeah.
teams defeated going into that game. No one really expected it to be a blowout. I expected it to be a close game. It could have been 50-50, but Norway really took it to them. I was really surprised about that. Gogebic has been another surprise this season. I've heard about Gogebic. I heard about the Bessemer Speed Boys and Wakesfield Moranesco. I didn't know beforehand that Gogebic was actually Bessemer and
Bismarck.
Wake Bessemer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Bessemer. All right, sorry.
No,
Not
you're good.
familiar with the names up there.
Yeah, you downstate people, come on.
What do you want to do? Inland Lakes is another talented program.
Hmm.
They've been to the state finals for a player. They should have won it a couple of years ago. It was a blown call. I seen the video. That kid from Martin was probably out of bounds, but refs didn't call it. And unfortunately, they don't have replay review at the Superior Dome like they do at Ford Field, which I believe that they should start doing that. Just for fair play. If you're gonna have that for 11 players, you should do that for 8 player. It's a little unfair, but it is what it is. We're in 2025 now. We should have that technology at all football fields in the state of Michigan where we can have instant replay review. Because I get it. Refs are human. You're a ref. You've probably missed a call and some kid yelled at you or a coach yelled.
Yeah,
I
oh yeah.
and I've been a coach where I've definitely yelled at a couple of refs in my day. So everyone's human. I think we should definitely look back at plays in all games of high school football where we can have an instant replay and we can change the call.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
not like they don't have the capability at Northern either, right? You got a Division two program there. For the GLIAC games, they have that capability, so why not do it for the playoffs too?
right. And I'm pretty sure that they do have instant replay in D2 football.
They have to.
Like they have to, right?
I feel like they have to. If they don't, I would be really surprised.
Me too. Me too. But we're going to talk about the southeast side. We got two big teams, in my opinion, that are going to be coming. They're going to be fighting for a spot up in Marquette, and that is the Martin Clippers. Some people call them the Onion Kings. I'm going to call them the Clippers for right now because they haven't really wanted to call that moniker for a while. Then we got Climax Scott. Climax Scott has had some ups and downs this year. I think in the playoffs he can make a good run out of it. They'll probably end up running into Martin in the regionals, where I do believe Martin is going to win it, and I do believe Martin is going to be your 8 player Division One state champion.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be shootouts. I mean, that's the name of the game with eight man, but we got a lot of great teams and great athletes, and it's going to be exciting at the Dome.
100%. Honestly, this is one of the most loaded brackets I've seen for 8 player football in quite some time. You got Kingston, Bay City All Saints, Brown City, K-Pac. Martin, Marcellus, Goebbels, and Climax Scott, who all can make a case to win it. And on the other side, on the north side, honestly, there's three choices in my mind. That's Norway, Gogebic, and Inland Lakes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna pull for my Uper squads. You know, I
I,
in every division that I have a chance, I'm pulling for my Uper squads. I didn't pick, I didn't pick Escanaba to win the state championship in Division Four. Right? I'm not that crazy, but wherever I've got a legit chance, I'm picking the UP squads. And an eight man is one of the best opportunities in the current football landscape for Upper Peninsula teams to win state championships because the eight man game's pretty similar. Like 11 man, there's a lot of downstate schools, especially when you get to that bigger level that play different type of offense. A lot of UP football is still ground and pound, run the ball. There's a few teams that like to air it out, but even a team big school like Kingsford, they'll line up four wide and quarterbacks in shotgun. You're like, oh, here comes a pass, and then he runs it right up the middle. Right? They just spread the defense out. So there's a lot, there's so much of that in the UP. I feel like it's hard for the 11-man teams sometimes to compete. They go downstate and they just get lit up. The secondary doesn't know what to do. But 8-man, the Uper teams can definitely compete.
100%, 100%. I would say we're going a little forward, but Menominee is probably going to be the 11-player team out of the UP to really compete for a state championship this year. They're 9-0.
Yeah.
They run that mean split back offense.
Oh yeah,
So it's going to be pretty interesting.
it is. Why don't we roll into Division 8?
Oh yeah.
Um, I've got the state championship game being Beal City and Hudson, with Beal City taking it as a winner. Pretty dominant program. I mean, every year Beal City's in it. I think they're gonna come out on top. My shout out for the UP would be Bark River Harris. I don't think they have what it takes to win a state championship. I think they can make a little noise. They can win a couple games and make people take notice of the Broncos. That's a solid team. They've had a great year. Kind of another surprise. Usually the UP team that dominates Division 8 is Iron Mountain, and they were a little down this year. It was Bark River Harris that was our team that really stunned people for Division 8, beating Iron Mountain twice.
Yeah, and you know what? They're probably going to see him again. They're going to
Yeah,
probably see him a third time, which is, oh my gosh, can't wait to talk about the Westpac. What is it, the Iron, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing here, Westpac? We really need to start figuring out how to realign those divisions around there because it's quite ridiculous how we have Iron Mountain and Bark River Harris playing multiple teams like Manistee themselves. Gwyn, I don't even think they had a season this year.
Just
Played them twice.
JV.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, but that
It,
program is good. I refed Gwyn JV against Kingsford's JV, and it was competitive at halftime. It was either 12-6 or 6-6. Gwyn had quite a few turnovers in the second half, and Kingsford ended up taking it by a large margin. But there's some talent. If they can get that program turned around, there could be a future for Gwyn football again. So I'm not closing the door on Gwyn.
no, I'm not saying they're going to shut down the program completely. More like just drop down that 8-man. And it's kind of a new fad that's been going on in the UP. You've had Ishpeming, St. Ignace, uh, Pickford, uh, even Crystal Falls Forest Park, who
Yeah,
are great 11-player programs that unfortunately have had numbers issues where they had to drop the A-player. I'm not knocking down on A-player, but there is a big difference, and it does help with recruiting playing 11-player to compared to 8-player. Uh, like West Iron County, I'm surprised that they're still 11-player.
they fight every year, right? They forfeit a couple of games, and I don't know.
Yeah.
At that point, is it worth it? Like, just drop to 8-man. You just got to do it.
Or like I told you, but due to the traditionalists around the UP, I don't think it'll happen. It's time to start consolidating these schools like Westwood, Negaunee, Ishpeming are all in what, a 30-minute drive from each other.
They're pretty close, but it'll never happen because they're
It'll.
so proud.
I mean, I respect the pride. I do. I really do. But you have to. think about your student athletes and how they can get good exposure playing 11-player football, playing high division football. If all of those schools combine, they have the exact same enrollment as Marquette, the Sioux, and where they could play high division football with Escanaba and Ludington. It will help them so much, but like we said, to the traditionalists, they won't let it slide, and that's understandable. And small town, small division football is pretty cool, but you have to start thinking about how our kids can start playing college football again. Like how we can get these kids to start getting recruited again.
Yeah, I see both sides of it. I understand the consolidate and play 11 man, right? But I also understand the school pride. Like we want to play just Ishpeming. These are our kids. This is our team, whether we're 8 man or not. And I don't know which one I'm for. Like it works really well. Like in Ontonagon and Ewan, they co-op. And a couple of the refs I was talking to, they said like when those guys meet on the basketball court it's so chill and the sportsmanship is not an issue because they were teammates in the fall. They were
Right,
playing football together. So now you don't have problems during basketball season.
right,
So there's pros and cons to both sides for sure.
right. And like I've witnessed these unified teams this year. Kalamazoo United is a united team between Hackett and Kalamazoo Christian, where on the basketball court, super chill with each other, high fiving, picking each other up if one of them falls, because they're teammates. They're teammates in the fall, and it's really cool to see that how can become buddies again. But there's just something about a hard hitting rivalry in those small towns where it really gets the people going. The whole city shuts down. Everyone's at the game. It's a really cool atmosphere. Um, but the sportsmanship is definitely the plus side of the unified teams. I would definitely say that.
Yeah,
So
for
for my
sure.
Division 8 pick, I do agree with you. It's going to be Hudson and Beale City. Another team to not sleep on, Harbor Beach. They just defeated the defending D7 state champions Millington 43-7. And I don't know about you, that's a pretty big feat
The
for
eye
Harbor
opener.
Beach. It is. And for Beale City, they are in their region, right? Yep. Beale City will probably end up playing them in the regional finals. That's probably what I have. But I still think Beale City is going to take it. One of the best small town programs in the state. Looking for their 20th semifinal appearance in their 11th state championship appearance. Very impressive. Hats off
Crazy.
to Ags. Hudson is also another proud small town football team. Had home of the streak, one of the longest in a regular season winning streaks in the country. I believe it ended at 72. And that was
Yeah.
back in the 70s. And crazy enough, Ishpeming ended it in the
Heck
state.
yeah.
And since then, that was happened in 1975. About 35 years later, going into 2010, we had that same rematch of Ishpeming and Hudson got their revenge after all those years and finally won their first state championship. Then in 2021, shout out to my boy Aiden Raskowski, they beat Beale City in the state championship, and I think we're going to see a rematch of the 2021 state finals between Beale and Hudson, and I'm going with the Aggies going back to back.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm totally with you there. See, look at that. We're on board for one division.
We're
We
on board. We're on board.
Now we're on to one of my favorites, Division 7. Um, one of the premier programs in the state of Michigan. Again, if anyone has never heard of Menominee, this is the best program in the Upper Peninsula, and it has to be considered one of the greatest programs in the state. If you look at history, state champs in 98, '06, and '07, with also 3 or 4 runner-ups. So 7 state championship appearances, many semifinal appearances, going toe to toe with big time programs. I saw Menominee play Houghton this year, and and the Gremlins, we had a down year this year. But Menominee scored, what was it, 22 points in the first 3 minutes of the
Wow.
game.
Wow.
They they had like a three-play drive, boom, 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 score. Then there was a fumble, return for a score, and then like quick three and out, and then boom, 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 score. And it looked so effortless. It didn't even look like they had to try. It just was a well-oiled machine, extremely well coached, great athletes, Bardowski and Terrakoft, who's both have brothers playing college football right now. A lot of great athletes on that team. Menominee they're my pick to win, and I have them beating Ottawa Lake Whiteford. And I threw Ottawa Lake Whiteford in there for my buddy Jake Brenke, who won a ring with them. I think it would have been their last state championship, or he's got a ring for Ottawa Lake Whiteford. So I'm gonna give Ottawa Lake some love, and they had a great season again this year, so totally possible that they make the run downstate. I do think Pewamo Westphalia going to be very dangerous, premier program. I also think Ithaca has some upset possibilities that could make a little bit noise. That's a great program for if we're looking at just programs in the state of Michigan, consistency making playoffs. So those are my picks.
So I got a few favorites in D7. Obviously, Menominee, like you said, a well-oiled maroon machine, one of the premier programs in the state of Michigan, home of the longest interstate rivalry in the country between the Marinette Mariners of Wisconsin. Uh, very just an all-around great program. They honestly, I think they were the last public school team to really give Jackson Lumen Christie a run for their money in the 2023 state finals of
Yep.
Division 7. Final score was like 34-28. Like you said,
The
Tarakov's
battle.
older brother, who's now in college football, had a baller game, and he really gave those Titans a run for their money. And I do love to see it. As many people don't like Lumen Christie for their pure dominance in the small school domain. And there's another team I do really like, and they really came out of nowhere, and that is the Saginaw Valley Lutheran Chargers. If you didn't know, Coach Reed, their head coach, is fighting cancer right now, and he's also leading Saginaw Valley Lutheran to one of their best seasons ever. They beat Ithaca, they beat Saginaw Noble Catholic Central, Michigan Lumen Seminary. We went 9-0. I really do like this team a lot. I have them going to the regional finals. Unfortunately, they're going to meet up with Pewamo Westphalia in the regions. But with all that being said, I do have a absolute wild card of a state championship pick, and that is the Schoolcraft Eagles of Schoolcraft, Michigan, outside of Kalamazoo. They played a pretty tough schedule. They're playing against high-powered teams like Hudsonville Unity Christian, who's been an absolute dominant program in the past couple of years. Still looking for that state championship. That's home of Isaac Tesla. I have Pewamo against Schoolcraft in the state finals, and I'm going with Schoolcraft.
Yeah. I think we both kind of have wild card pick. You going to Schoolcraft. I have Ottawa Lake losing, but having them make it. I think those are both kind of wild card picks for our state championship games.
Right, right. I mean, honestly, that D7 Region 4 area is extremely tough. You got the runner-ups, you got the state champions, and you got one of the premier programs of Southeast Michigan, Ottawa Lake Whitford, who just joined a Toledo conference with them, and I believe what was the Petersburg Summerfield. They both joined the TCC. Whitford absolutely wiped through the competition. They won a game like 84-0
Yeah,
this
I
year.
saw
That
I
was
saw this. How do you score that much in 11 man? In 8 man, okay, maybe. But
yeah. I, I've seen 90-point games in 8 man, but like when you see an 80-point game in 11 man, it
it's
is
crazy.
absurd. But Schoolcraft is also going to be in a tough tough competition. They're going to have a rematch in the Battle of 131 with Constantine. They already or they might even play Lawton. and those are two very respectable programs out in Southwest Michigan. Like I said, I think Schoolcraft can get some revenge on Lawton. I think they lost in. No, they didn't. No, they're going to sweep them. Yeah, I guess Schoolcraft sweeping them. They're going to take it, and I really like it. They just played a really tough competition in their schedule. They played Kalamazoo United. We'll get to them in D5. I do like how they are playing right now, and they're going to play Palamo, and it's going to be a great game. There's a lot of choices in D7.
Yeah, that's a loaded division.
100.
Honestly, there's a lot of D7 teams that I like than like even some D6 and D5 teams. There's a lot of talent in that D7. There's a lot of great programs there.
100%. It really is anyone's ball game in D7. But for D6, if you want to get into that,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got um I've got JLC in the final, but I have them losing to Belding.
ooh, that is
Yeah.
a hot take. I like that one.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah. Yes. I also think that St. Francis is going to be dangerous, and that's a dominant program. I'm going to give my one UP shout out to Calumet. They're going to have a tough go against Kingsley. They had a tough go against Kingsley last year, but this is a Calumet team that played very close with Menominee. Final score like 26 to 15, but that was a very close game, battle the whole way. I think their other loss was to Kingsford, only by a few points. Both playoff teams. Copper Kings are the premier program around this area now, and like in the Western UP, if you cut it off, not including Nagani, the Copper Kings are the top program. Great culture. But yeah, I've got JLC losing to Belding in the final.
JLC losing the Belding. That is a very hot take. I do have Lumen Christie winning it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure most people do, but I like to be bold. I like upsets.
yeah, I 100% understand that, but it's just Lumen Christie. The past like 4 years has just been wiping through the competition. It's
You've got to remember me though. Remember how much? Remember I was betting against Belleville and they had Bryce Hunter. Whatever. I was picking Saline. I mean, granted, they have one of the greatest quarterbacks in the country and CJ Carr when he was there, but I'm big in that upsets. I love to see the big dogs go down, and Belding is gonna do it. If anyone from Belding is listening, know you've got support from the UP. Go out there and kick some butt.
I love it. I love it. I mean, who doesn't love an underdog? Uh, my senior year of high school, I was an underdog. We went really far, didn't make it, but unfortunately, I don't think D6 really has many of underdogs. I think it's very power heavy. I think we have Kingsley. I think we have TC. We have Traverse City, St. Francis, Reed City, uh, Lumen Christie, Almont, and Marine City. All very high-powered offenses, powerhouses in their own perspective. For my final four, I do have Kingsley Montrose, who's had a very great year, 9-0, and Lumen Christie and Almont. Almont's also 9-0. Almont, oh my gosh, where do I start? I love Almont football. They're a great program. They have a diehard fan base. There's this kid out there. His name is Jackson Wojnowski. He goes by the Wojo. Great kid. He always talks to me about Almont football, what I think about Almont football, how good is Almont football this year. They're good. They're 9-0. They beat a Division III Marysville, who also beat Marine City, who's probably going to end up facing them in the district final. And they're probably going to have a rematch against a surprisingly really good Detroit Edison squad, who gave them a run for their money in Week 9. They were down, I believe, by like 13 at half, and Lumen Christie did not Lumen Christie, excuse me, Almont did not give up a single point in the second half and won that game against Detroit Edison. They'll probably end up playing in the regionals, and I still think Almont's going to sweep them this year. But then they have Lumen Christie in the semifinals, and what Almont's biggest problem is in those big games, they tend to choke. They
Yeah.
did it in 2019. They did it in 2023. Uh, they did it prior to that, I believe, in like 2016 or 2017. they just can't get over that hump. And unfortunately, they're going up against a big hill in Lumen Christi, and I have Lumen Christi taking it to them in the semifinal. And then I have who do I have? I have Montrose beating Kingsley in the semifinal, 9-0. They'll probably end up going into that game 13-0 against the Titans, and I have Lumen Christi winning their fourth state championship in a row. Right? Yeah, fourth. I was thinking about fifth. I don't. The last five Pete was West Catholic, I believe. That was in D65. But Lumen Christi is going to walk through this with ease.
No, 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 no. You're mistaken. Everyone is gonna have to say that I was right when Belding wins it. Just have faith. Have faith in some wild upsets. I'm the guy that looks at the Kentucky Derby and I bet on like the horses. I'm like, well, that guy's he's gonna win it. He's got a cool name and he's got low odds. Who wants to roll with the favorites?
Hey man,
Except
they're all
for
Secretariat somehow. So
except for I did roll with some favorites here down the stretch. Did at least make it. Division 5, we've got some Grand Rapids power around Division 5 with Catholic Central and West Catholic. Catholic Central is a factory. I mean, they've been a football factory for years.
okay.
Um, Same thing. West Catholic also, Catholic Central is the better out of the two programs. But West Catholic's got a great program. I have a buddy of mine that went to West Catholic and played baseball there. I've got the final being Catholic Central facing Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard, with Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard winning the state championship for Division 5.
Ooh, I like that. They were just at Ford Field last weekend. They looked pretty great against Allen Park Cabrini. They blew them out 42-7. See, my problem with Ann Arbor Father Gabriel Richard is that they mostly do play about smaller schools, Division 8. They went undefeated, so they weren't like a Whitmore Lake, where unfortunately they did not qualify the playoffs at 7-2. Uh, but Whitmore Lake did not play the same Division 8 schools that Ann Arbor Father Gabriel Richard played. They played against morely mediocre ones. They really should join a higher division conference, in my opinion. And they only have three conference members, so not their entire schedule is mostly an independent schedule. When you have only three guaranteed games in the entire year, you have to look for the other six. And when you look for the other six, you got to look everywhere. And
Yeah.
some schools don't want to play you because you're a bigger school. You probably going to beat up on us. Like we don't want that. Like that's what happens. Like there was a school, I can't remember who, but they said that it was Lumen Christi. I'm pretty sure they looked through 8 different states to find games for week 1 because no one
That's
wants to play
wild.
them.
Yeah.
It's like that's a big problem. Teams are afraid of comp. That's the biggest
Yeah.
problem right now in high school football. Teams
Oh,
are afraid
so true.
of competition because they don't want that blemish on their record. Especially if you're a higher division team, you're going to end up probably playing a lower division team because no one in D1 wants to play you.
You know what I got to say about that is you got to work harder. If you're the coaches, don't shy away from the competition. Work harder. If you're one of those players at one of these schools, just work harder. Hit the gym, work in the off season, do whatever it takes to be able to compete. Maybe it won't make a difference. Maybe you'll play Jackson Lumen and they'll just still whoop you. But if you're not gonna, you got to put in the extra effort. Don't shy away from competition. Run towards it.
I agree with you. It's like what's okay as a small town public school. What's better than beating a private school?
That's the best thing ever.
It's the best thing ever. Why wouldn't you want to play against a private school? Beat them beat them up in the playoffs, ruin their season, ruin their dynasty that they're gonna have. Like that
Yeah.
is probably the best feeling you're ever going to have. You're like that's probably gonna be the highlight of your young life. And you're gonna look back at it and you're like, wow, we really beat one of the best programs in the state of Michigan, and we were just little old Menominee, little old Brunson, Schoolcraft. Like it's a great feeling to have.
Oh, it's the best. For us in the UP, it happens more with like hockey than it does with anything else. Every year the UP teams, Houghton's schedule. They've got Brother Rice, they've got UD Jesuit, they've got these programs that they play Cranbrook, Kingswood, these programs that recruit. Orchard Lake St. Mary's that recruit. I mean, even some of the downstate public schools like Heartland. It's a little bit different level. Some of those big schools. But yeah, there's nothing better than beating a private school in basketball, in football, in hockey. There's been many times where small schools in the UP have ended up playing Adrian Lenawee Christian in the finals or basketball, and usually Christian comes out on top. But if a UP squad manages to win that game, that's huge. That's huge.
Absolutely. It's like, was it Newberry or Munising that won the state finals in basketball a couple years ago?
Would have been Munising, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's like an all-time feeling. Like a UP
Yeah,
basketball school winning a state championship, that's awesome. You don't really
right.
hear,
No.
but yes, I have Lumen Christie winning D6. They're gonna win. They're gonna four-peat. You got Belding.
Yeah,
I do love the Belding pick. The Reed City boys may not like it.
yeah. What's
Uh,
your D5?
all right. So Kalamazoo United. I really,
I
I
knew you were gonna say
like
that.
how they are playing. They're red hot. They dropped two games earlier this year, one to Berrien Springs and one to Lawton, both very good programs this year. But they've won six straight. They beat a high-ranked Schoolcraft team who's played really good competition themselves, and they've had Grand Rapids Catholic Central circled on their schedule since last year when they lost to them by 7. Both teams returned most of their starters, and I that's going to be a regional final matchup between GRCC and Kalamazoo United, and I have United getting their revenge back in the regionals. Then after that, they probably will end up playing Swan Valley from Region One. Region One's a very interesting region for Division Five. You got your Flivers of Kingsford. You got your Ogama Heights. What's her name? I think it's like the Eagles or like the Golden Hawks. Swan Valley from out of Saginaw, who's had a pretty surprising year, 8-1. Their only loss was to Frankenmuth, who's been one of the best powerhouse programs in Division Five the past couple of years. Still looking for that first state championship in school history. Then you got Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a very interesting program. They finally won their first state championship in their first appearance ever in the state finals for Pontiac Notre Dame. There used to be Harper Woods Notre Dame, and they closed down. Then Harper Woods Gallagher, home of Braylon Edwards, also closed down. Then I think the Notre Dame like name just moved to Pontiac. I'm not sure. My grandfather went to Harper Woods Notre Dame. He's tried to tell me the whole story. It's really confusing because it's like there used to be so many more like Catholic schools in the Metro Detroit area, and like not like regular like small like elementary schools. Like there used to be like almost like 80 Catholic high schools in the area. Harper Woods Gallagher, Centerline St. Clement, St. Lawrence, Utica St. Lawrence used to be a high school, and now my 13-year-old cousin goes there for 8th grade. Very weird, very weird. I have Swan Valley, Kalamazoo United, Father Gabriel Richard out of Ann Arbor, and Pontiac Notre Dame in the Final Four. Notre Dame and KZoo will meet at uh, Ford Field, and I have KZoo pulling off the upset of the ages and knocking off the defending state champions.
Yeah,
Shout
so
out to you.
we're,
Great,
we're
great.
both picking upsets. You've got KU, I've got Gabriel Richard. So we both got kind of an upset pick for Division Five, which is fun.
Hey, we gotta throw a wild card every
Yeah, you
now.
got to throw some curveballs in there.
100%.
Let's dive into D4. Um, my last UP shout out because it's the last team that I really think has a chance to make some noise. I know we've got Marquette Division Three, but Marquette's down this year. They're I don't I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think they're going to do anything at all. You know,
Here, I get a Marquette should be ranked, and I'm like, Marquette shouldn't be ranked. They don't.
No, terrible. They
They
were
play
down this year.
like unfortunately like for them that's their biggest problem is scheduling because
Yeah,
our schools around them are very small and
right,
they really don't want to travel, and it's
right.
very. I'm like, come on, Marquette, come down to Macomb County. I would love to see you play against a team like Roseville, Grosse Pointe South. Uh,
You don't want to see that. It'd be terrible football. When they went
no,
downstate,
man.
when they went
Like,
downstate, they played Muskegon, and that kid was going to Ohio State or whatever. They cooked Marquette. They just cooked them.
I'm not saying go play against Muskegon. I'm saying go play against teams at their level in the same division. It's still a hike. I've seen the Sioux come down here and play against St. Clair Shores Lakeshore. I think last year, and
Oh,
they got
hold on. I got the update in the World Series. Blue Jays become the first team in World Series history to start a game with two straight homers. Heck
what?
yeah. Heck yeah. Go
Go Blue
Blue
Jays!
Jays.
Go Blue
Hate the
Jays!
Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers.
Who doesn't?
Man, is that awesome?
Hey man,
All right, back to football. I
if
had to say it.
Day and
Sorry.
Matt Patricia were on the Blue Jays, and I would still not root for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
The
I
hell with
feel it.
the hell with them. I do not
Yeah,
the LA Dodgers.
I feel it. Schneider and Guerrero with back-to-back homers to start.
Laddie's a dog. Did you see
He
that
is.
that play he had where he had to relay it back to third base? That absolute frozen rope. That
He's
that,
insane.
that kid's unbelievable.
He is. He's nuts. So
Back with
yeah.
the
So Division Four. My shout outs to Escanaba. They had a great season. Again, a big turnaround. They've had some down years recently, but the Eskimos are 8-1, with their only loss being to a very good Gaylord team. So no knock on Escanaba. I think Escanaba could win a game or two. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. Um, so they could be dangerous. My final pick for D4 is Harper Woods beating Portland.
good pick. Good pick. I like that. I do have Harper Woods as well. Harper Woods has Dakota Gurin and hold on. I have a few names on my phone that I can shout out real quick. Um, but Harper Woods has played a Division One schedule. They play in a Division One conference, and they went undefeated in one of the toughest areas in the state of Michigan, the OAA. Uh, in the OAA, they played against a school like Saline, beat them. Like you don't really hear about Division Four schools beating top 10 programs in Division One very often, let alone multiple. It's very impressive. Hats off to the Pioneers. They are playing absolutely phenomenal football. Uh, Dakota Gurin, DeAndre Bidden, Nate Rochello, their quarterback. Juani Jones, Tyler Buford, like all great football players. We're going to see one of the best Division Four teams that we've probably ever seen in high school football in a very long time. Probably since 2018, Edwardsburg, who upset the River Rouge Panthers that year and won their. I think that was their first state championship. I have to ask my buddy Joey about that. But Harper Woods going to take the cake. Probably going
Yeah.
to be easy. But we do have one other. I have one other team that we have to mention. And that's the defending state champions, the Goodrich Martians, who have not lost the game since last year, week 1 against Frankenmuth. They
Yeah.
are they're on a 22 game win streak.
Oh,
Very impressive,
impressive.
and it's going to be a crash course again. And unfortunately, we don't see it at Ford Field. This is my
Yeah.
biggest problem with the playoffs. We need to start seeding. I don't care about regions. I don't care about close in proximity. This is the playoffs. Everyone's shot is to go to Ford Field. Menominee's shot is to go to Ford Field. Schoolcraft's chance wants to go to Ford Field. Everyone wants to go to Ford Field. That takes travel. Everyone's going to have to travel. So why not just start it now in round 1, where you can have 1 versus 32, 2 versus 31, et cetera, et cetera. Like this would make so much more sense. This would
Yeah.
help competition. This would help seeing the matchups that people want to see. If you want this, like, I know what MHSA is doing. They're trying to get the best possible matchups, but they're trying to keep the regions together so they can have more people come to the state finals. That's why they moved Catholic Central from Detroit to the west side. I mean, they're from Novi. They moved them to the west side part of the bracket. As to last year, they were on the east side, and they lost to Cass Tech in the semifinals. Cass Tech's okay. We're not going to go into D1 right now. Sorry. You know that I'm a D1 guy. I played in it, coached in it. Very interesting division this year as well. They have one region I like to call the Doom and Despair. But Division 4, I got Harper Woods,
Yep.
and I think the second closest team to them is probably going to be Goodrich.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think we're both on board with Harper Woods. Um, let's roll into D3. Watch out for Gaylord. I mentioned them when we were talking about Escanaba. It's a very good team. Also, I think watch out for East Grand Rapids. Um, I have DeWitt taking it over Mount Pleasant in the final.
Oh, man, we get the exact same pick.
There we go.
Wow. We're on board this year,
We
surprising.
are on point right now.
So when do you want to talk about DSL, now or after?
Well, anyways, might as well talk about it now. I just have to say, there isn't any way possible a team should make the playoffs. 3 and 6. I don't like it when 4 and 5 teams make the playoffs. I don't think that's. I don't know. I just. I don't care who you played. I don't care how big their school was and how many points you got. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So I understand the reasoning why DSL is in the playoffs this year because they played a very tough schedule. No,
Yeah.
not like we all agreed that their schedule is probably the
Yeah.
toughest.
Right.
Probably them or King have the two toughest schedules in Division 3 this year.
Yeah.
King against Archbishop Hoban, the Toledo Whitmer, Cass Tech twice, and then Catholic Central at the final end of the year, ending 5-4. But everyone knows they'll probably beat most of the teams in their district, and that goes the same with DSL. They'll probably win their district. So we're gonna have DSL, who went 3-6, wipe through the district. We're gonna have King, who probably is gonna wipe through their district, meet up, and we're gonna see who wins that one. Um, so DSL, my problem is it's not that they lost those games; they got blown out,
Yeah.
49-10 against Orchard Lake St. Mary's, 35-6 against CC. Uh, I think another 35-6 game against Toledo Central Catholic. Like they've got blown out. They got tossed around a couple of times.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a tough schedule and to play close, but when you get blown out, but I still go back. If you have a tough schedule, right? Like all the SEC teams play a tough schedule. Alabama's got a gauntlet they run. If Alabama loses 3 or 4 games, they're not going to make the playoff because you just don't deserve it. Like whether you have a hard schedule or not, you still got to show out in those games. So that's where I come from, especially when there are teams that are 7-2. Maybe they didn't play the right teams and they didn't get in. There were years where that was Sault Ste. Marie. Sault Ste. Marie's in the toilet right now, so we didn't even talk about them. Their program is horrible, one of the worst teams in Upper Michigan. But there were many years where Sault Ste. Marie did not make the playoffs, and it was like, what, this team is stacked. They're loaded. They're 7-2. They should be in the playoffs. They'd make a run. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the new playoff. I liked it when it was pretty much you got 6 wins, you were
6
in. I liked that because teams had something to shoot for. Now I think there are a lot of teams that get screwed over, and I think there's a lot of teams that make it that don't deserve to make it.
That's fair. I agree. I agree with your points. Like unfortunately, the Sioux did not make those playoff runs because they did not qualify due to the small schedule that they played. Because like I said, they played against what D6 schools, D7 schools.
Some of that's out of your control, right?
It's
Location and
that's really out of your,
money and
and that's why they had to start traveling downstate. That's why they came down to 30 Mile and Jefferson. I
right.
I never expected to see a week one matchup between an Upper Peninsula team and a Mac Gold school. That was very surprising to me, so I had to go check that out. Um, they did get blown out by Lakeshore. It was very surprising.
Yeah, very down year for the Sioux. Very down year.
Yeah. Um, but uh, I still think De La Salle and King will make it out of their districts with ease because the competition is just because like the second best team, actually the first best team, the number one seed in Fitzgerald is Fitzgerald in De La Salle's district, who lost to Port Huron by gave up 38 points to Port Huron. Then the week before, Port Huron got absolutely sideswiped by Anchor Bay, one of the worst Division One schools in the state. So it's just like
You might be right. You might be right.
it's an evil
But
world.
but
A great future once said, but it is what it is. That's just how football works. If you play against tough
yeah.
competition and you play against a team with who has a weaker schedule, you're going to see the difference. And where you're going to see the difference in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. You're going to see a very big, vast difference of competition between the offensive line and defensive line of De La Salle and Fitzgerald. That's just how it is. They like it's that's just how football goes in Macomb County. That's why De La Salle won that many state championships in Division Two because they never won a Division One playoff game.
Yeah.
De La Salle was a Division One playoff school, never won it because they had to play against the MAC Red schools and they lost most of the time. Like they lost to Sterling in Division One when Sterling was a D1 school back in the early '90s. Like, and now Sterling is one of the worst football programs in the state. It is so unfortunate. You have no idea how bad the football has become in the city of Sterling Heights. I'm about to get right into that with D1. D1 is going to be my segment where I'm just going to go on a tangent. you're,
Well,
you're, you're going to be, but I do have DeWitt winning D3. My final four is Mount Pleasant, who's had a really great year, 9-0. They're going to beat Gaylord and a very tough Kanawha Hills team. Kanawha Hills is very young. They most of their starters are juniors. Landon Hampton, Grayson Fellows. Very, very strong program who's on the come up. They just won their first conference championship, I think, in ages. They beat Lowell for the first time in school history. Shout out to the Kanawha Hills. I'm excited to see what happens next year for Kanawha Hills. They're going to be probably one of my favorites to win D3. But we're in 25, and I have Mount Pleasant, Niles, DeWitt, King. Niles upsets Mount Pleasant. They'll head to their second straight state finals. DeWitt finally beats King, and I have DeWitt winning their second state championship in the last 5 years.
we're pretty close. I mean, I've got Mount Pleasant making it,
Solid.
but we're in the same realm when we've both got DeWitt. Let's roll on to Division Two. I've got a couple teams to watch out for. Muskegon, in one of the premier programs in the state. You never want to have to play Muskegon if you can avoid it. And Dexter, another team to watch out for. I have South Lyon winning it over Midland Dow.
Holy, that's a hot take. I love that. I love it. I love it. I really do love it. I would love to see some big time upsets. I want to see some first time ever state champions because who doesn't love that, honestly?
Oh, it's the
Winning their
best.
first state championship, euphoric feeling. It's like the whole town is going to have a massive celebration for you. Then right after you get home from Ford Field, it's phenomenal. I love that pick. Um, for me, I have Orchard Lake St. Mary's going back to back. They like I said, they played very good competition in the Catholic League. They have a very solid quarterback, Gonzalez. Their offensive line looks like a college offensive line. It's led by Michael King, John Kolarchik, Greg Smith Jr., Cliff Edwards, and Brian Matthews. Shout out to that O line. Very strong, very powerful. Um, but then there's a sleeper team that I have, Portage Central. Has given up 18 points this year. I think they're going to beat Muskegon, and they're going to head to the semifinals. And for me, for that semifinal between Portage Central and Orchard Lake St. Mary's, it's a 50-50 toss-up, honestly, because Orchard Lake St. Mary's had moments of weakness this year. Another team I have to shout out is the Brother Rice Warriors. My cousin, Maximus Julio, is on that team. He's a freshman. He's 6'3", 200 pounds as a 14-year-old. Can you believe that?
That's
Like,
pretty
where are they
crazy.
feeding these kids?
I don't know. Houghton, we've got a eighth grader that's um he's probably 6'3", 260.
What the hell?
250. He's huge. He's massive. They call him Big Joe. Big Joe is going to be a force once he gets to um, when he gets to high school football. This is a total tangent, but in he there was at one game I was reffing, and there was this poor little kid from Hancock, and Big Joe comes up out of his stance. He's offensive lineman. He blasts this kid. The kid flies 5 yards back, falls down. He gets back up. Big Joe blasts him again, five
Oh
more yards. After the play is over, he picks him up by the shoulder pads all the way, and then like stands him back on his feet. I was like, what? What? The Houghton would line him up at running back, fullback for the 2 point conversions. That's 250 pounder. They'd line him up and he'd just run right up the middle for a 2 point conversion. Nobody,
my God.
nobody could stop. Total tangent, but when you were talking about big kids, I had to throw Big Joe in there.
Yeah, I got to keep an eye on Big Joe. Be a force to be reckoned with in the Westpac Conference. For the East Side, it's very interesting. No, this is the first time DSL is not in the D2 playoffs in a very long time. And that MAC region where you have Grosse Pointe South, Roseville, Lakeview, and Port Huron Northern, who would all lose to DSL in their prime years, they got a shot. They really do, and I'm really excited for them. They because the district above them, Groves, Warren Mott, Cosno, and Seaholm, uh, like Groves is like a little bit down. Like I don't like they're like really up and down this year. Birmingham Groves. And you got Cosno. Cosno has had a surprising year. Actually, you know what? The resurgence of Cosno is it has to be talked about. A couple of years ago, they had to forfeit the rest of their season. It wasn't going the way they wanted. And Brandon Jeanette, the former wide receiver coach at Chippewa Valley, he's really turned that program around. They won their first conference championship in quite some time a couple of years ago, and they just kept on making the playoffs the past couple of years. Unfortunately, playing against DSL in the first round. But now no DSL, so it's great. It's great to see that we might see a Mac Blue, Mac White school make it pretty far in the Division II playoffs. I have Grosse Pointe South out of that region, making it to the regional finals, but then losing to Birmingham Groves. And then there's another team, Gibraltar Carlson, out of the Downriver League. They have a very, very, very high-powered offense led by their running back Isaiah Wright, who's committed to Purdue, I believe, or Michigan State. Very, very talented running back. I have them in the state finals against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Orchard Lake St. Mary's versus Carlson, and Orchard Lake going back to back.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but I had to go with a bold, another hot take pick, South Lyon to take it.
I respect.
Um, I've always been an upset guy. I've always loved upsets. I don't care how crazy people tell me. I'm big on upsets. Call me crazy. I'm putting Michigan on upset alert this week against Purdue. That's not the same Purdue program. They might be 2-6. It's not the same Purdue program. They got a new coach. They got a lot of guys in the portal. It's not a terrible football team. Depending on what Michigan squad shows up this weekend, I've got them on upset alert. I mean, if the Michigan squad that played USC comes to this game, I think you have a battle. If the Michigan squad that just pounded up on Michigan State last week shows up, they're going to win easily. But I've got them on, upset alert. Other people are going to call me crazy, but go ahead, call me crazy.
We got to be a little crazy to be doing this.
Right,
So
exactly. You have to. And now we're on to one of my favorite picks of the podcast, Division One. I've got a lot of teams I like in Division One. I got a lot of teams to watch out for: Rochester, Adams, Belleville, Rockford, Hudsonville, Howell. But I had to go with a certain pick to win the state championship. Celine with Tommy Carr, the
man, he's
Miami, Ohio commit, brother to the great CJ Carr, fantastic quarterback at Notre Dame. Had to go with Celine to win the state championship. You remember I was riding Celine when they had CJ, so I'm going to keep doing it when they got a Carr at quarterback. They beat Detroit Catholic Central to win state championship.
Good take. Good take. Um, so
Also, if CJ or Tommy, if you're listening to this, please reach out to me. I'd love to have you on the podcast.
this man loves the Irish and he loves the Carr family.
Oh,
Unfortunately, he probably doesn't like Lloyd Carr because he's a Michigan guy.
yeah, but his grandson made the right decision by going to Notre Dame. So it's all good. It's all good. Love CJ Carr. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I will stand by it. People say, "Oh, they lost to Miami." That was his first real start ever. It was the first. He played well. They lost by 3 points. Oh, they lost to Texas A&M. Have you watched the kid since then? He's phenomenal. That offense is rolling. He's a great player. There's a great future for him. Love CJ Carr. And his brother Tommy is a stud too, and he's going to go do great things at Miami of Ohio, which is a great MAC program. I mean, that's a great MAC program. So yeah, Saline wins
It's the
the
cradle of coaches of college football, man.
yeah.
You got Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, Jim Tressel. Who else has come out of that program who's now like a big time head coach or just a legend overall? Miami, Ohio,
It's great
solid,
program.
solid program. Hats off to the Carr brothers, doing phenomenal work. For me, back to back, Tech. Tech in return probably most of their offensive line of last year. They have the number one athlete in the state of Michigan, Corey Sadler, number one quarterback in the class of 2027 or 28.
You mean behind Tommy Carr, right?
No, Tommy's a senior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
No, you were just saying the number one athlete in the state of Michigan. So I was saying behind Tommy Carr. So he's the number two athlete in the state, right?
mm,
I'm just playing. I'm just messing right
Corey
now.
Sadler's a pretty phenomenal athlete. He
I'm
plays.
I'm just messing around.
I
I'm
know,
just
I know.
messing around.
um, very interesting Division One side this year. A lot of people are telling me that we might see our first West Side State champion since 2008 from Rockford, who also lost to Muskegon that year, who also won their Division Two state championship. Very strong OK Red in 2008, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. We're gonna
I
have to.
think they're a dangerous team. They've got upset potential,
Oh, 100%.
but I don't think they. I agree with you. I don't think they win it.
I think Division One's probably going to is the most competitive division out of the toughest division.
There's a lot of teams I like here. Like there's a lot of
There's a
teams
lot
you
of
could
favorites.
convince me that they would do well.
Yeah, but for me, you can tell me a lot of good teams, but not a single one is going to be coming out of the MAC Red. MAC Red has been on a historic down year, 6-6 against their Tier Two conference, the MAC White. That has never happened before in my lifetime, in my father's lifetime, who played in the MAC Red. Um, I don't know what the hell's going on in the MAC Red because I'm very upset with how the competition has dwindled down to the point where the MAC White is now competing with you guys and beating your conference champion. Uh, but I do know why their conference champion did struggle a little bit early in this year. Sammy Nipa went down against Rochester Adams. That he's the Romeo starting quarterback. But when he came back after the Grosse Pointe South week, 6 in a row. Unfortunately, they did lose to Grand Blanc in week 9, but it was a very high scoring game, 40-36. Um, so it's like I feel like Romeo out of all the MAC Red schools probably has the best shot of making it that far. They probably will end up rematching against Rochester Adams, a week 1 rematch. So and so I talked to one of the Romeo kids about that game, about that Adams and Romeo game. They were down 17-7 before Nipa went down. And after that, Adams just reported on them 39-7. I do have Romeo getting their revenge and making it to the semifinals for the first time since 2016. But they will play Tech. And Tech's going to walk right through the east side of the bracket. And we'll probably end up facing Detroit Catholic Central, a rematch of last year's state semifinal. Some people call it the de facto state championship, just the way how the state championship went last year between Tech and Hudsonville. Hudsonville is also another program not to be slept on in Division One, led by quarterback Brady Van Leck, who just committed to Ferris State. Very phenomenal athlete. wide receiver core, a handful of great receivers. I can't even if I can name them right now, I will. Let me just find it real quick because I got to shout these kids out because they have been making big time plays in big time situations this year. Have you seen Hudsonville's like the ending of the Hudsonville games this year?
That's
Hail
not.
Mary, one handed catch. Like they're pulling out all the things out of the hat. It is phenomenal football coming out of Hudsonville. They've really just revitalized that program where it's not just Rockford every year, just piling it on, okay, red, and then choking in the regionals. Let me find that roster for you. I love my page just because I can just like that find like half the rosters in the state of Michigan. All on Instagram too. It's great. It's really great. Oh, I'm going way too far up. Here we here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Wait, no, that's not it. Oh, big shout out to East Kenwood. Really turned around this year, led by quarterback Cade Kaufman. They have some great receivers and running backs: Steph Jones, Bam Nettleman, uh, Owen Vanderveen, uh, Amin Emmons. Very strong offense, high powered. They will probably end up rematching against Hudsonville. I think that's going to be another classic football game that we're going to see out of those two teams. But Hudsonville is just they've just they've just been so consistent in winning football games. It is like a complete turnaround from the past couple of seasons where they've struggled and struggled and struggled, and now finally they made it to the state finals for the first time in like 20 years.
Just takes the right group of kids.
100%. Where is that roster? Oh my goodness. Sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Brady Van Lex is led the Eagles to the state championship last year. They fell short, but you got your running back Owen Harzma, receivers Lawson Weber, Drew Meerman, and Will DeYoung. Their tight end. Very phenomenal offense. I'm excited to see what it has in store for Hudsonville. I do have them losing to the Gash brothers, Duke Banta, Benny Azuka of Catholic Central. Just a phenomenal program that's finally just kicked it up a notch. Offensive line is ginormous, probably bigger than Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Honestly, they might be the same size as Notre Dame. They are a very, very high-powered offense. Their defense is the best in the state. I think they've only given up 95 points this year against
Impressive.
against a very tough schedule. You had Toledo Central Catholic, King, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Brother Rice, who's finally back in the playoffs. Who else did they play? Oh, they also played this team from Canada. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called Clarkson North, and they're referred to as the IMG of Canada.
Hmm.
They sent 22 of their 22 starters to the to Division One last year, and they
It's
and I'm gonna assume that they're probably gonna send their next 22 this year to high-powered college programs in D2 and D1 because I don't. I was looking at some scores earlier this year, and that Canadian school beat Mass. You know who Massillon is, right? Down in Ohio, the Tigers, home with Chris Spielman, Paul Brown.
yeah.
They blew them out, 34-2. I'm like, you don't see a Canadian school being an Ohio school ever. I don't
How
care.
you do?
I, I don't care if they're the IMG of Ohio of Canada or not. Like Ohio is a very respectable football state, and Massillon is one of the most respectable programs in the state of Ohio. They beat St. Edward, who's probably the best program in the state of Ohio this year, and they lost to this Canadian school who CC blew out. So it's very interesting to say the least
Yeah.
how CC and Cass Tech are this year. I think it's CC Excuse me, Tech, CC, everyone else. It's a two-headed race.
Sleeping on Celine and Tommy Carr. Gonna make you eat those words.
You told me that last year, and they lost 42-7 to Belleville.
It happens. It
Eh,
happens. You have off
twice
games.
in a row
Yeah, it just yeah, you can have two off games.
to the best quarterback in the country, Bryce Underwood, aka Bryce the Goat.
But
Going to lead
okay,
Michigan. He's going to lead
my,
Michigan to their second national championship in 3 years.
please stop. Please stop. Don't embarrass yourself any farther, okay? Now let me just break it down for you right now. He might have been better than CJ Carr when they were in high school, but CJ Carr is better right now. Right now. He is playing better than Bryce Underwood. 100% better quarterback.
Shoot, I would be playing better than freaking. Nah, forget it. I'm not going to say anything crazy. But no, they're both really respectable, great quarterbacks in their own.
They
Like,
they are, but one of them is just like leagues better than the other one.
okay, but who's playing tougher comp though? That's the question.
Are is Michigan really? Is Michigan really
I don't
in
know.
tougher competition?
College
I,
football is so weird right now. Indiana's the best team in the country. Like, what the
They
hell's going?
are. They are. It's not
And
Ohio State. You can't beat a crappy Texas team 14-7 and tell me that you're the best. Oh, they beat Minnesota 42 nothing. Yeah, well, Iowa is beating Minnesota 31 nothing at the half, and Iowa isn't that awesome. I mean, Iowa is solid. They'll win 8 games like they always do, right? They're a tough out, but they're not a powerhouse anymore. No, Ohio State is overrated. Jeremiah Smith, fantastic. I'm a Titans fan. I hope that we suck so we can draft Jeremiah Smith and give Cam Ward somebody to throw to. Carnell Tate, another first round wide receiver. Okay? Julian Sayin though, he's all right. He's okay. That defense, yeah, it's all right. The Penn State game this weekend is gonna suck because Penn State's garbage, but I really hope that Indiana and Ohio State can meet for the Big Ten champ game, and I hope Indiana can take it to him. Fernando Mendoza,
Kirk's like that.
Elijah Surratt, or whatever that wide receiver was. Elijah Surratt, is that his name? The wide receiver for Indiana, who's a
Yeah.
stud. I mean, and then that running back is his name Hemby. I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded.
See, like Michigan's run game is just very high powered this year. Like they ran
You
over
want to
three.
talk about high-powered run games?
That's
You want to talk about high-powered run games?
yeah.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Come on. Justice Haynes and Marshall they're not even in the same building, let alone the same room. They're not even in the same building.
Hold on. Can we both agree that we need Michigan and Notre Dame back on the schedule?
Oh, please. Please, because then I could really I could hold something over my Michigan friends. I
Yeah,
can't right now.
you can really give me some business, man. I
I want it back. It's better for the sport.
if Travis was here, I would be fighting for my life because he's also an Irish fan.
Oh, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy.
Hey man, I was very surprised when I went down to Southwest Michigan to see how. Um, I was very surprised to see how many Irish fans are down there in Southwest Michigan. I mean, I get it,
Smart
they're
people down there.
10,
Smart people.
but shoot, I just root for the in-state team. You don't see,
Who does that? Roots for the in-state team.
yeah, I
Come
know.
on. Come on. You
You,
see this? You see this over here on my wall?
yeah, you have the weirdest like fandom I've ever
You
seen.
can't see it, but I have an Anaheim Ducks clock right here.
And
I'm
Notre Dame White Irish. Wait, hold on. Who's your favorite? Okay, hold on. Your Diamondbacks,
yep.
Titans, Irish. Who's
Yeah.
your best? The Celtics, bro.
I'm not a bandwagon either. I liked the Celtics when they had the shitty Isaiah Thomas and they didn't do anything. Like, that's when I started being a Celtics fan. Honestly, I think it's because when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Notre Dame Irish. Oh, the Celtics, that's Irish too. I have to root for them. That's honestly what it was. And I've just stuck with it because I don't want to hop around.
I
It's
get
going to
it.
be a hard year for the Celtics without Jason Tatum. They're off to a tough start right now. Jaylen Brown can't carry the team by himself. And we got rid of everyone else. I mean, we've got our top three
I'm
players.
not gonna carry that hairline either. You see him Did you see the freaking airline wipe off of bro? I was like,
Wow, jeez,
uh,
that's harsh.
it
That's
is.
harsh. At least he has hair. Derek White doesn't have any hair.
Yeah,
And then we got Peyton Pritchard. Those are our top three players. That's not scary. That doesn't scare anyone. Derek White, Jalen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard. That doesn't scare anyone.
excited for the Pistons to say the least.
Yeah,
They
there's an
they're going to
exciting
be a
team.
playoff team. I don't know if they're going to go far. I do like
Gotta
my Red.
love
I do like my Red Wings. Oh my gosh, they're playing some phenomenal hockey.
Red Wings Ducks on Halloween.
Ooh, you coming down here?
I wish it's in Anaheim actually.
Oh shoot, it's just gonna play. Fuck it.
Yeah, we'll just fly out to the Honda Center. No, yeah,
Have you been to a Ducks game or no?
no. I've been to their farm team, the Gulls. I've been to some Gulls games.
Where they?
Um, San Diego, but they were playing in Arizona. They were playing the Coyotes farm team. I actually saw them twice. The Gulls. I'd love to go to a Ducks game. I love the Ducks. This is one of my like a huge Ducks fan. I'm very happy about our team. Big shootout win over the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers last night. So I was happy
Solid,
about that.
solid.
I was happy about that. The Red Wings are rolling.
Every
I'm a little nervous when they play the Ducks because I've been talking trash to my Red Wing coworkers.
hey, I don't know if you know this, but every single player, including the goalie, has garnered a point this season for the Red Wings already.
What goalie? Not Gibson, is it?
Oh,
Your other goalie? Who's your other goalie? Like Talbot?
yeah, Calvin, Calvin. They,
Dan
they they have,
Talbot.
they have a very solid offense, and
No, you
they
guys are loaded. Your skaters are loaded. I'd be worried about your goaltending though. They're both like geriatrics. I mean, they're old. Talbot and Gibson are in their mid 30s. They're old men.
yeah, I know, but we got about what another 70 games left, so I can't get my hopes too high because you know what happens in March.
You fall
Uh,
apart.
yeah, that month of March is very scary for Red Wings fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited that I'm really excited for the Ducks to play the Red Wings because I think both of the teams have rebounded this year. They're both looking for a wild card spot. Like they're kind of on the cusp playoff teams, whether they make it or not, which is exciting. And most of my friends are Red Wings fans, so I love it.
Obviously,
Crazy
they
people, all
used to
crazy
do.
people.
Didn't they used to train up in the UP? I know they train in Traverse City a lot more now. But
I
like,
don't know if they trained in the UP. I mean, they did some of those preseason games up there.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
were they like preseason against other teams, or were they just exhibition against each other?
Preseason against other teams. One of them was actually in Calumet against St. Louis Blues. They did one in Marquette. I can't remember who that one was against. It was against the St. Louis Blues the year after the Blues won the Stanley Cup, I think, because I think they brought the Stanley Cup and like because people
Ooh,
were in. I didn't go because tickets sold out within minutes and like it
oh,
was just
100%.
nuts.
UP's
But you could like get your picture. Like Jeremy Roenick was there. Like people were getting their picture taken with Jeremy Roenick because I think he might have been announcing or something. And then the Stanley Cup, you could get your picture with the cup. And
I just want to go up to the UP to watch some hockey at this point.
you should. You could make a whole weekend out of it. You could go to a high school game, really good high school game, and you go to a Michigan Tech game, and then you could go to like a beer league game. You could like do the whole tour.
100%. Beer league game. I wouldn't mind to see one. I never played hockey in my life, but I've always wanted to at least try it one time.
Yeah. And we've got like some like I don't even it wouldn't even be beer league. Well, there is beer league, but I guess what I'm thinking of it's kind of like semi-professional hockey. The teams around here don't pay their players, but there's other teams in their league that give their players like stipends and stuff like that.
Oh,
The
really?
Great Lakes Hockey League, and the Houghton team is the Portage Lake Pioneers. The Calumet team is the Calumet Wolverines. They played some downstate teams from like the I don't know, it's like the mid Michigan, some mid Michigan hockey league,
Okay.
and the Pioneers just smoked that downstate team. Like it was like two different levels. There's there's multiple former Tech players on this team. There's one guy that played a couple of games in the AHL. There's some kid that played for Colorado College. Like this like high level, this like semi-pro. But then also when they travel, it's like only the single guys will travel. So you might have like 10 guys travel and then you just get absolutely smoked. So the home games, it's like the team's loaded, they're stacked, and then travel and there's like the nine single guys, they get bombed the night before and they go out and play and get whooped.
I I don't know if you knew this, but I played rugby for the past couple
Oh
of years,
yeah.
and it's kind of the same thing. A lot of the guys who like have wives and girlfriends they don't really go travel to away games because they got like some other plans. Um, but we had a lot of high level players. Like they played in like North America's highest like professional league called the MLR. They're practically falling apart now. But um, but there's also a team up in Escanaba.
Is
Like
there?
yeah, they just started, and I know that Northern has a rugby team.
Tech has a rugby club team.
Oh, they do? Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a couple guys that played on that.
Rugby is a very violent sport. I will give you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
But
got.
that's how you can work on your tackling form.
Oh, 100%. I've been telling football players since I started playing rugby, you should start playing rugby because the tackling is just a lot cleaner. You get like just a lot more leg drive out of it. You're taking your head out of it. Because first things first, why the hell would you lead with your head in rugby?
If
Why?
you're an idiot, maybe. I don't
Maybe
know.
give a death sentence or a death wish. Who knows? But yeah, I would say most football players they should definitely try it like rugby or wrestling to work on form tackling, keeping their stamina up because like football you get breaks in between, but there's definitely a big stamina difference between all those three sports that I just referred to. And even hockey. Hockey's very violent, very physical. Your stamina has to be on point with the rest because if you don't, you're just going to be skating behind and you're going to be messing up your team's game.
That's why all hockey players should play football. A lot of them don't because, oh, I'm afraid I'll get hurt and I'm going to ruin my chance to go to the NHL, blah, blah, blah. Okay, first off, hop off your high horse. You know how many people actually make it to the NHL? I mean, go you if you want to try and make it there. Go you. But like the odds are so low. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like live life when you're a kid. Play all the sports. Coaches love when like if you want to get recruited to college, coaches love multi-sport athletes, right?
Well, I
they
know.
love multi-sport athletes. And if you play football, when hockey that first hit, it's not the same. You're tough up from football, your conditioning's better. So when you take that first hit in that hockey game, you're chilling because you were blasted all football season.
I got to tell you about actually from my school that I went to, the Hatcher brothers, Darian and Kevin. They both played in the NHL for a very long time. They were football players as well. During this was like in the early '90s or late '80s. I'm pretty sure is when this happened. But their dad came onto the football field while they were practicing in the summer, and their he went up to Coach By, who's now in the Michigan High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame, or this Michigan High School Hall of Fame. He goes up to him and he's like, "Hey, my son just got drafted into the NHL. They're leaving." And Coach By was like, "Understand."
Right, yeah, that's a little different, right? Little,
Dad was like, "You're done with football. It's time to go."
yeah, that's a little different. But if you're just playing high school hockey, you know, yeah, some of you are going to go on to play juniors. Some of you might get to play D3 or even D1. Some of you are going to make it to professional hockey, but the number is pretty low. So play football. It might even help. Yeah, you run the risk of injury, but if you don't get hurt during football, you could get hurt when you're playing hockey. So like, what the heck?
100%. You can get hurt. You can get hurt playing badminton, man.
You can get hurt when you walk out, you slip on the ice in the winter.
Yeah, yeah. You live in Michigan, where winter can happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Probably winter for you happen right now.
The last week of football, I was doing a JV game in Calumet. We had some snow mixed into the rain. There was some snow, sleet
I'm sorry
mix
to hear
coming
that.
down.
I'm very sorry to hear that. We have not.
No, that was awesome. That is football weather. That
It
is
is.
football weather. It's perfect.
It's. I mean, it's probably not fun for refing.
You bundle up. You bundle up out there. The head ref had like 8 layers on. I thought that was a bit over excessive, but he was just like, it's like, yeah, I got a t-shirt and then I got a thermal tee and then I have a thermal sweatshirt and on top of that I've got this reffing shirt and I've got this jacket and this thing. And I was like, okay, all right, cool, cool,
Oh,
dude.
putting a sauna by
Bro
himself.
looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But he was warm and he was good. He could barely get his arm up. Like it was like so thick he could barely get his arm up.
That's
All
just
right.
too much. I'm like I remember playing in the snow, uh, not more like the ice, like in 2019 when there was that big snowstorm down here, downstate. It was about like at least like a foot and a half of snow in like mid-November. It was pretty surprising because I don't think I've seen that in quite some time. And we had to play a football game against Tech, and the like we shoveled all the snow off the field, but there was just a thin sheet of ice across the entire 120 yards of the football field. It was it was electric. It was. I loved it. Like playing in it is fun because you're already warm. You're
Yeah,
breaking a sweat.
you're
You're
moving
out
around.
there with your boys. It's a phenomenal time, and I bet the kids up in the UP and the kids in northern Michigan right now are going to love that very soon. Playing in that cold winter weather. It's it's
And
a
there's
it's, it's like Christmas all over again.
nothing better than watching it. This is the best when there's an NFL snow game in Buffalo, Cleveland, or Green Bay, these places that are open stadiums, not closed domes. Those are the most fun games to watch. You get like college, like Wyoming gets a snowstorm or something. Like I don't care who's playing. If there's snow football, I want to watch it. I love, 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 love snow football.
Western and Central both played for the Cannon, and
Oh
like
yeah.
for my buddy's
Uh,
first
Isn't it like
playing.
8 feet of snow or something? Like there's a crap ton.
Yeah, yeah. My buddy played his freshman year, had to play in a blizzard and for the Cannon. He said it
Love
was a
it.
lot of fun. So
Oh, I love it. It's legit. If you live in Florida, you wouldn't understand. I, I was talking to I had a guest on the podcast last night. She runs Division 1 track at Idaho, and she was talking about how I think they took a bus ride from University of Washington to Idaho, and their bus got stuck in the snow. And I was like, yeah, like I can relate to that being from the UP, like people buses getting stuck in the snow, but like people from down south just don't understand.
even like people downstate, we have to deal with it all the time ourselves.
Yeah.
Like the bad traffic because people like we live in
You
Michigan.
they
Like
forget how to drive when the
yeah,
snow is.
100%. I'm not.
Don't that's a whole 3 hour podcast.
That's a whole 3 hour podcast of Metro driving. We're not going to get into.
Don't get us started. No, this has been awesome. I'm uh I'm glad we were able to do this. Too bad Travis couldn't make it.
Yeah,
Um, but
Travis.
next year we'll get him on.
Oh, 100%. Travis will be on the show very soon.
You know what I was thinking we could do too, and then maybe we could put a poll out to see if people would be interested in this, or we could just do it. But when playoff time rolls around, like for Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, all these schools, we could do like kind of a show where we talk about some of the top programs in Michigan that are involved in the playoffs, because we know there's going to be a few, Ferris State for sure, but there's some other teams on the cusp of having really great seasons depending on how they finish out here.
Yeah.
We could do a little college football show and talk about some of the great talent in the state of
Oh,
Michigan.
100%. I'm down to do that. Like Northwood finally cracked the top 25. Saginaw Valley finally beat Grand Valley for the first time in ages. Uh,
Michigan Tech is rolling.
yeah, Michigan Tech is. I think they're ranked too in football.
They were, and then they fell out because they lost to Upper Iowa, and then they they lost to Ferris, but who doesn't? So
Yeah,
they could win out though. I mean, it's gonna be a battle against Grand Valley and Saginaw Valley, but both teams that Tech can compete with this year, they could finish the season. What would that be? 8-2 or 9-2 or whatever they play in division,
I think 10 games now.
Yeah, so it could finish the season 8-2, which would be a huge season for the Huskies. Yeah, we should definitely do a
I'm all for it. Yeah.
yeah. We'll
Uh,
keep doing the collabs.
yes, I agree. This was awesome. I'm glad
Yeah.
that we again. Finally, we can post it. I remember we had that one in like 22 where I was like 100 pounds heavier and had a full beard. I look like a 35-year-old man, but I think I just turned 19 that day. Yeah,
I remember that. That was a long time ago. That's crazy. Crazy.
you're
That's when I was sports talk with Pera. That was
yeah.
when, for those in the UP, maybe you remember. For some of you, maybe you're too young, but if you weren't in high school, you might be like, "What's he talking about?" I used to be like the Big Madonski of the UP. I was doing high school sports. I was sports talk with Pera, but now transferred into the podcast world, and yeah, it's been fun. But yeah, this has been awesome.
I'm glad we did this again, Para. I really appreciate the invite. I'm really glad that we talked about this. This was fun. Good luck to everyone in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Everyone, all 100 and what? No, 288 teams,
especially the ones from the Upper Peninsula. But yeah, good luck to everybody.
especially except for the Mac Red. God have mercy on your soul.
Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.